You've never asked where the money goes, not once. And the weird part is, you're not broke. That's what makes it so hard to notice. Tuesday night, bar. 4 friends. Someone suggests shots. You say yes. The bill comes, $61. You tap your card without looking. Wednesday morning, your account reads $23. You stare at it. You do the math backward. You can't find the leak. You never tracked it. That's the whole answer. Here's what nobody tells you at 22. Most people assume they're bad with money. That's not actually what's going on. They were just never taught to read it. Those aren't the same thing. One's a character flaw, the other's a gap, and gaps you can actually close. There are 7 levels of financial awareness. Most people spend their entire lives between level 1 and level 2 without ever knowing the other 5 exist. This is what each one actually feels like from the inside. You are 22, maybe 23. The paycheck hits on Friday. By Sunday, it already feels smaller. By Wednesday, it feels like it was never there. You make decent money. You're not irresponsible. That's what you tell yourself. The bank takes $12 every month for a maintenance fee. You've been paying it for 14 months. You find out by accident one Tuesday afternoon when you're bored enough to actually read your statement. 14 months, $168. Gone to a line item you never read. You close the statement. You open Instagram. There's a grocery store you go to on Sunday evenings. Before you walk in, you sit in the parking lot and open your banking app. You check the balance. Then you go in and buy only what you checked for. You've been doing this for 7 months. You don't think of it as a plan. You think of it as being careful. Your credit card balance is $1,100. The minimum payment is $38. You pay $38. You feel responsible. You even screenshot the confirmation sometimes. Send it to nobody. Just keep it. What you don't know is that at 22% APR, the interest charges every month. The balance barely moves. The bank collects the difference. You're not losing. You're just not winning in a way you can see yet. There's a moment that happens at this level. You're at the register. Grocery store, Tuesday evening. The total is $43 and change. You tap your card. The machine pauses. Half a second, maybe less. Your eyes go to the card reader, then to the cashier, then back to the card reader. The transaction goes through. You pick up your bag, you walk out. You don't tell anyone about the half second. A friend asks if you want to grab dinner after work. You say you're tired. You're not tired. There's a word for what you actually are, but you don't say it out loud. At this level, money still feels random. Some months are fine, some months aren't. You can't really explain why. The idea that you could actually control this hasn't arrived yet. It's coming, just not yet. Something is off. You can't point to it, but it's there. You're 24, the salary went up. You expected to feel better, you don't. One Sunday you download a budgeting app, the one everyone recommends. You spend 40 minutes setting it up. The app asks you to set a monthly budget for dining out. You type $200. Then you look at last month's actual number, $463. You close the app, not delete. Close. Big difference. It sits on your phone for 3 months inside a folder named Utilities, so you don't have to see the icon. That app is the most honest thing on your phone, and you are not ready for that conversation yet. You learn the auto-pay schedule by accident. The credit card pulls on the 14th. The phone bill pulls on the 18th. So by the 12th, you move whatever you have from checking into savings, then move it back on the 13th night. You do this every month for almost a year. It works. Kind of. It's also exhausting in a way you don't have language for yet. Around this time, a coworker named Theo mentions he just maxed out his Roth IRA for the year. Says it like it's a normal thing. You nod. You have no idea what that means. You don't ask. Because asking means admitting you don't know. And not knowing feels like losing ground in a race you didn't realize you'd entered. So you nod. You say nice. You walk back to your desk and immediately Google what is a Roth IRA under your desk so nobody sees the screen. One search becomes 20. At 1 in the morning, you're reading about contribution limits and something called a backdoor Roth, and your eyes are starting to cross. You close the tab. You open Instagram. You do this 3 nights in a row. You kept going back though. Most people close the tab and don't come back. You did. That matters more than it sounds. Wednesday afternoon, the fridge is getting low. You know what you need. You wait until Friday anyway, not because you're planning, because the number in the account feels safer to spend after the paycheck lands. You eat cereal for dinner on Thursday. You tell yourself it's fine. Some months you do better. You check the balance on a Wednesday. You cook more. Some months you don't. The point is you're starting to notice the difference. That's new. You open a brokerage account on a Wednesday evening. Index fund, $500. You press confirm. Nothing happens. The screen just shows $500 in a box. No congratulations. Just a number on a website that loads a little slow. You close the laptop and watch TV. The learning started 3 months ago and hasn't stopped. Not because you're disciplined, because you can't stop. You watch videos during your commute. You listen to podcasts while doing dishes. Your roommate asks what you're listening to. You say, "Oh, just a finance thing." She makes a face. You don't explain. You're not sure you could yet. What you actually learned isn't the technical stuff. It's this. Some people have been quietly getting ahead for years while spending roughly the same as everyone else. Not because they earn more. Because they understood something about how money moves that you didn't. The game was running the whole time. Nobody handed you the rules. You're at dinner with friends. Someone brings up crypto. The table gets loud. 6 months ago you had opinions too. Confident ones, based on nothing. Now you're quiet. You know enough to know how much you still don't know. That silence is new. You go to a restaurant with friends. You open the menu. Your eyes go to the right side first, the prices, before you read what anything is. You've been doing this for 2 years. You never noticed until right now. You try to read the menu from left to right. Name first, price second. Old habit is faster. Your friend Sarah asks you to explain index funds. You explain for 20 minutes. A month later, she still hasn't opened an account. You feel a frustration sharper than you expected. Then you remember. 3 months ago, someone explained all of this to you at a party. You nodded. You went home and did nothing for 6 weeks. You can't give someone a stage they haven't reached yet. You let it go. One evening you run a projection. $500 a month, 30 years. 10% average annual return. The number that comes back stops you. Not because it's complicated. Because it's not. It's just time and consistency and not touching it. Then you go back and look at what the delay cost, the 14 months of fees, the credit card interest, the months between when you could have started and when you did. Most financial content skips straight to "it's not too late, start now," which is true. But you lost something real by waiting. It's worth knowing exactly how much. You set the automatic transfer for next month. Not a perfect amount. Just more than zero. That's enough for now. There's a thing between knowing what to do and actually doing it. The 12 minutes of logging in, finding the right menu, entering the numbers, confirming twice. 12 minutes that somehow didn't happen for 4 months. That's it. That's the whole gap. One Sunday morning, you finally did it. No dramatic moment. You just woke up, made coffee, and sat down before you could talk yourself out of it again. Roth IRA, index fund, high yield savings. 40 minutes total, including the part where you forgot your password twice and almost closed the laptop when the reset email took too long. You almost closed the laptop. That's the part nobody puts in the highlight reel. When it was done, you watched TV. No celebration, no feeling of arrival, just the mild anticlimactic sensation of having done something that took 4 months to start and 40 minutes to finish. You still made dumb purchases the following month. A thing you bought because it was on sale, a dinner that cost more than it should, a subscription you forgot about until it charged you again. The difference was you noticed faster. That's not nothing. It's actually most of it. A few weeks later, you go into a branch about a charge on your statement. $47. The teller looks at her screen, then at you. Something recalibrates. You've seen that look before, from the other side, at 23, different branch. You remember the feeling of being assessed in one glance and found lacking. Moved through quickly. The fee gets waived. No argument. Just waived. Same bank, same fee, different number in the account. This is when you start noticing how the whole thing is set up. The overdraft fee on a $4 shortfall, $35. not scaled to the mistake. Just automatic, like the account doesn't know your situation and doesn't care. The minimum payment in large bold numbers. The actual cost buried on page 2. None of this is hidden. You just weren't taught to look. There's a short period at this level that feels like anger. The feeling of realizing the rules existed in plain sight and were never once pointed your direction. Sit with it for a moment. It's valid. Then let it go. Being angry at it doesn't change anything. It just keeps running. So you stop waiting for it to be fair and start making moves it wasn't expecting from you. Slowly. Some months better than others. High-yield savings. Credit card balance cleared in 4 months. Automated transfer bumped up. You still spend too much on food delivery sometimes. You still have a subscription you keep meaning to cancel. The difference between level 4 and level 2 isn't that you became a different person. It's that the baseline moved. The money moves automatically now, even when the rest of the month goes sideways. You check your portfolio on a Tuesday morning, not from anxiety, from habit. The balance reads $47,200. You close the app, make coffee, start your day. 18 months ago the market dropped, $11,000 in 6 weeks. You watched it happen in real time, and you did something that would have been impossible at level 2. Mostly nothing. You didn't sell, you bought more. But you also checked the account every morning for 3 weeks. Sometimes twice a day. You knew what to do and you felt terrible anyway. You'd read enough to know this was normal, volatility, corrections, all of it, and you still felt awful watching it happen. Both things were true at the same time. You did the right thing anyway. 8 months later, the portfolio recovered. Nobody congratulated you, no notification, just a number that was higher than before, and the quiet knowledge that you didn't panic when it counted. It felt like discomfort you sat inside long enough for it to pass. Your income increased, $15,000 more per year. You automated the extra before you could see it. But you also upgraded your apartment that year, $150 more per month. Better neighborhood, less noise. You told yourself it was worth it? It probably was. But you spent more time justifying it than you expected. You checked the projection after. The math still worked. But you noticed you needed the math to confirm what you'd already decided emotionally. That's worth knowing about yourself. The pull toward comfort doesn't disappear just because you understand it. A friend named Marcus calls. Smart, works hard, makes roughly what you make. He mentions a rough few months. Credit card balance crept back up. You listen. You don't lecture. At the end, you say one thing. When you're ready to look at it properly, I'll sit with you. Not I'll explain it, I'll sit with you. He doesn't bring it up again for a while. You don't push. Some seeds take longer. Then, 1 quarter it happens. Your portfolio earns more than you contributed. You put in $1,500. The portfolio returned $1,900. The thing you read about at level 3, you'd run the projection. You thought you understood it. This was different. This happened in your actual account while you were at work and watching TV and ordering food delivery. You didn't do anything and the number went up more than you put in. It's a weird feeling to describe. Here's what level 5 actually is. At level 1, money was loud, constant. The bar tab, the card reader pause, the half second. At level 5, money is quiet. You didn't know how loud it was until it turned down. Nobody warns you about this part. You are 33. From the outside, your life looks the same. Same neighborhood, same group chats, but underneath, the math is different now. Saturday morning. Group chat activates early. Someone found flights to Lisbon. $2,800 per person. 3 people respond within minutes. Fire emojis. Unambiguous. 2 people go quiet. You know exactly who the quiet ones are before you scroll down. Not because you know their balances. Because you remember the specific feeling of seeing a number like 2,800 and doing the math before you can stop yourself. You used to do that math automatically. You don't anymore. The moment you realize you don't, that's when you feel the gap for the first time. You go to Lisbon. 3rd night, someone jokes about paying off the trip until Christmas. Laughs around the table. You laugh too. Underneath it is something complicated, not superiority. You're very clear with yourself about that. Just a distance that wasn't there 3 years ago. Or maybe it was and you were on the other side of it and couldn't see it from that direction. You're at dinner with a group. The bill comes. Everyone splits it evenly, $112 each. Nobody hesitates. Not even a pause. 2 years ago, you would have felt the $112 before you handed over your card. A small calculation. A quick assessment of what was left in the account. Now you just hand over the card. Nobody notices the difference. You do. There's a specific loneliness that comes with this level. With people who are struggling, talking about what you're building sounds like showing off. With people further ahead, it sounds like nothing at all. There's no group chat for this. Which sounds small, it's actually kinda lonely. Your cousin Milo texts you, 24, first real paycheck, he's at the automated transfer, $50 a month, he sounds apologetic. You text back immediately, that's how it starts, don't touch it. You don't send the projection, numbers at 24 don't land the way they land at 34. You just say don't touch it, and you mean every word. You wake up on a Tuesday, no alarm. You make coffee, you stand at the window, you don't check your account, not because you're avoiding it, because there's nothing urgent there. Everything is where it's supposed to be. You stand at the window and drink your coffee. That's it. If you tried to explain this to yourself at 22, you couldn't do it accurately. Not the window, not the coffee. The absence, the low-level noise that ran underneath everything for the first decade of your adult life. You didn't know how loud it was until it turned down. You can't put that on a net worth spreadsheet. But it's real. 3 months ago your manager asked you to take on a project you didn't want. 2 years ago you would have said yes. You said no. Calmly. With a clear reason and an alternative. Your manager said okay. No consequence. No fallout. When your financial situation is stable, it changes how you talk at work. That's not something the personal finance content warns you about, but it's one of the more real parts. One afternoon you're at a coffee shop. The man in front of you is counting change. Actually counting. His hand moving through coins with the focused attention of someone who can't afford to get the math wrong. You've worn that posture. Not once. For years. You step forward. Tell the cashier you've got it. The man looks up. You just nod. You leave before it becomes a conversation. Because you remember what it felt like to have a stranger witness that moment. The most respectful thing was to make it disappear as fast as possible. You think about it on the walk home. You didn't fix anything structural. You just navigated around it well enough to help someone else for 30 seconds. Sitting with that without making it bigger than it is, that's part of what this level asks of you. The weird thing about knowing how this works is you can't unknow it. You walk into a dealership and you see the monthly payment framing immediately. You look at a credit card sign-up bonus and you check the annual fee first. You read the actual terms. It's not some achievement. It's just how you see things now. A learnable skill that nobody taught you in school. You learned it anyway. Slowly, imperfectly, through a budgeting app and a folder named Utilities and one in the morning searches and a lot of closing tabs. You learned it. And it ended up mattering more than you expected. 2 people, same paycheck. Right now in the same city, 2 people are waking up. Same company, same job title, same salary. Direct deposit hits at midnight every other Friday. Same number, down to the cent. The first person reaches for their phone before their feet touch the floor, opens the banking app, the balance is fine. It's been fine for 3 years. The automated transfer went through at midnight. They don't check it. They have a problem at work today. They're not thinking about money while they think about the problem. That used to be impossible. The second person reaches for their phone before their feet touch the floor. Opens the banking app. The balance is fine. It's payday. Payday feels like permission. By Thursday, the number will be smaller than feels comfortable. It's always smaller by Thursday. They'll start the transfer next month. Next month always feels like the right time. Same number, same Friday, same city. In 30 years, one of them will have built something real. The other person isn't stupid. They just don't know yet what you're learning right now. Every Friday that feels like permission is a Friday that doesn't compound. That's the math. And you can't really argue with it. They'll probably figure it out eventually. The question is when. The earlier you know this stuff, the less it costs you to figure it out. That's why you're still watching.